I haven't seen a single American talk about how much danger we truly are in. And I'm going to have to expose this narrative. I don't really do the fear mongering, but it's something that has been on my heart that I have to speak on, that I just feel like it'll do some negative to my consciousness if I don't speak on this, and the worst do happen. So I follow a lot of news. I study a lot. I'm not going to hold your time for too much long. And I see trends. I like to see these patterns and whatnot. And something that I noticed that was very interesting is, and things that I've heard behind the scenes, is on the 17th of January, it was announced that by President Trump in the U.S. that we would start doing strikes on Mexico to target cartels, and that we would start sending troops on ground to start targeting cartels. Now, most Americans, they were cheering about this, happy about us finally giving it to the mega drugs, actually taking the war on drugs to where the war should be, I should say. But something very interesting happened about less than 10 days later. January 25th, I believe. I'm going to add the video right here. There were 3 illegals that were shooting at a family in Texas on the highway. You didn't hear much about this story after the fact, but when you come to think about it, you suddenly stop really hearing anything about the strikes on Mexico or the cartels. So what would that tell you? Or what would it at least tell me? It at least tells me that there's more to the story, or maybe I could be overlooking this, but just hear me out for 1 second. How many illegals come into America every year? I want you to find a number. And I want you to decide how many of these people actually belong to cartels. Let's say, cartels, their main source of money now, it's not even drugs, it's people. They're smuggling people to the states, to these countries. That's their main source of money. They have most of these people in debt that are afraid for their lives, that will do anything the cartels say. That's already an issue. That's something I would consider a sleeper agent. Now, outside of those people, how many people are actively in the cartel? How many of these people have tunnels inside the United States? How many of these people understand where our most important infrastructure is? How many of these people are militant and ready to do whatever it takes if their cartels tell them to do so? You see, to me, I know after 2001, when I witnessed after 9/11, that most Americans were absolutely terrified of Muslims. You couldn't get on a plane and you saw someone in a whole black outfit, they could start losing their mind. I think it'll be that times 30 if these cartels actually start attacking on American land. What happens when America starts doing these airstrikes and they get desperate? What would they do? Their leverage would be, we can target the Americans. The shooting at Americans on highways in Texas. The attacking of ICE agents that we're starting to see, how violent migrants are starting to get out of nowhere, as if they were told marching orders. I'm paying attention to these things, and I'm saying this because I want Americans to really think, do they really believe in their hearts that when things get ugly for the cartels, that they won't retaliate? They're already on our land. And safety itself is just an illusion. It's your perception of being safe is what makes you safe. The reality is, these people are here, and if they were to start retaliating, they have the manpower, they have the money, and they have the means, the mindset, and most importantly, they have the guns. Americans need to start being prepared. I would like to start seeing Americans start carrying more in open carry states, and just to be prepared to take care of each other. It's something that's been on my mind pretty heavy, and I wasn't going to speak on it because I was like, I don't want to push it, especially if it's a narrative that can't be pushed out officially by a government. But if it's something that can save lives at the bare minimum, I feel like it needs to be out there. And I don't see any other creator talking about this. And I hope to God I be wrong and just look like an absolute crazy nut. That's the end goal. That's what I would hope it to be. But the more things that I'm seeing behind the scenes, as violent as I see these migrants getting, it can't help me but think to one thing. How many of these migrants are affiliated to cartels? And how many of these cartels know where our kids live, know where the teachers are, doctors, the people that actually help benefit society? These people have had decades to integrate into our society, thanks to Democrats acting like everyone that comes in is just a starving person trying to get away from the bad, cold world. And we know that's just not true. The same can be said about a lot of urban areas in America. Democrats will try to overly victimize individuals that are prone to violence. A lot of people that are coming in America legally, if not damn near all of them, is done so with the assistance of cartels. That's data. And that's dangerous to the American people. And I do believe at the highest level, President Trump and his administration is preparing on the best way to address this, which is why the same way people might be wanting things passed with the Epstein files. It takes time to address these issues and to make sure, most importantly, the American people are safe. I had nothing else. I'm not going to be over dramatic on